On today's episode of Beauty Behind the Brand, we're going to talk about how to elevate as your spa CEO mentality. We're going to talk about some of the things you should be doing in your business that will bring and scale you to the next level. There's so many tasks and little day-to-day things that I think as a spa CEO, we should be actually giving the opportunity to other people within our establishment to be able to do that as an operator. Let's dive into this episode and talk about more about your spa CEO experience. If you're not following the spa business coach, my good friend Erin, we have had her on the episode quite a few times, and she's always posting the most amazing content. A lot of the time, it actually even prompts me for some of these podcast episodes, as well as motivates me when I need it the most. So if you're not following Erin, dive into Instagram right now and make sure to give her a follow. We also have a lot of episodes, well, I guess two, but I want to have her on a lot of episodes in the near future to chat a little bit more about some of the things that you need to do to scale to that spa CEO mentality. I think as spa business owners and business owners in general, we always want to do everything. It's really hard to give the reins to someone else, to take the opportunity to actually bring and scale your business with your guidance as well as your leadership. That's something that I've really struggled with. Coming out of the treatment room now, that was a big step back in January 2019 was the last, January 2020 was when I had no longer been taking clients right before the pandemic, actually. And I completely stepped back from the service room. Now I feel like I jump in when the staff are needing me or when things come up. I try to make myself is available as possible. But sometimes recently, for example, right now is cold and flu season. A lot of the time people are sick, things happen, but it's also, I have a whole other business that I'm trying to run with Muskoka Beauty with our product line. So it's really hard for me to drop everything right in the morning to reschedule, move everybody. It is a lot going on. So our spa manager, for example, is starting to take on more of that responsibility, and it's making me feel less stressed, kind of like that on-call feeling where I might have to reschedule Zoom meetings with some of my distributors. I might have to reschedule content days that we've had scheduled out for months because clients need services done. And that's something where I kind of need to start saying to myself, you know what, I can move these clients. There's rooms and other opportunities for them to come in. They're very much flexible as well. Things happen, life happens. But I realized some of these things that were causing me this big stress and this almost like anxiousness and why I wasn't sleeping well and why I didn't feel well rested was because I was almost on edge of this feeling on call all the time. And as a spa CEO, I shouldn't have to feel that way. I think with dealing with like daily crisis, overwhelming of daily appointments, dealing with waiting lists, no longer like long-term plans of figuring out like within the spa, I feel like my job within the spa CEO as well as the founder is, okay, how are we going to scale and plan for the future? I find myself sometimes being like flying off the seat of my pants, as Erin has in one of these notes, because I feel like I'm just, oh gosh, I got to do this now. I got to do this. I'm not using my time blocking as much as I should when I'm on call. But as a spa CEO and that CEO mode, as she's explaining here, should be more of like that structure, preventing crisis. So yes, having that in place where the girls need to let me know, hopefully the day before, if they're not feeling well, we can put a plan in place of where they need to be. As well as strategies for the business, how we're going to grow and scale, how we're going to bring in different services, different things for our clients, as well as for our staff. Setting up appointments as well and scheduling, that is something that I do with my staff, is going over scheduling with everyone, making sure I know what the spa operations are. If we're doing new hires, making sure that their schedules, they're very comfortable with the hours, the communication is there. That's something I'm happy to do. I feel like it helps with the flow of the spa. Also like planning our monthly and quarterly meetings, as well as what we're doing in our specials, our monthly specials, our marketing, advertising. Also a lot to do with our quarterly goals financially, all the finance side of things. And also giving my girls kind of that clear direction of where they need to be moving forward. Going into, the last quarter, it's really important to see, okay, girls, this is what we're going to be doing, being more organized. This is going to be what our next specials are for the next few months. If you have clients inquiring about things, make sure to let us know. Make sure to let our spa manager know in the sense of some of our packages and deals we've got going on. Our receptionist is very clear on what the services and the offerings are, and taking action to implement this. That's something that I feel like is really important when moving forward into that next level of taking care of your business. Um, really ideal things is working directly with your staff. Those the right next steps for that growth, as well as knowing what they're going to be making on commissions to drive those extra sales and packages. Even their commissions, sales commissions when selling products within the spa, especially coming into the holiday season. There's a lot of things I think like team management and development. That is something that I need to even do more of myself, is giving more direction to my spa manager, making sure she knows what her responsibilities are, making sure that even the tasks I'm giving her currently, we had that at our last assessment, is making sure that the tasks I am giving her are not too much, making sure that the workload is appropriate, making sure her time with staff as well as with clients and such are really compatible with what her schedule is, and not overwhelmed. I always want to make sure everyone enjoys coming into work every day. No one's feeling stressed or overwhelmed. I'm the one that I always have to remind them, I'm the business owner. I'm the one that should be worrying about some of these things that you guys don't need to worry about. But I think giving them that honesty that, no, you guys don't need to worry about that. I've got it. Like that confidence and that low stress mentality of being a boss, I think is so important for your staff and management to know that. And also know, like, we're all human. Things happen. Yes, if you're going to be sick and you can't come into work, I don't want you at work either. Like, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get staff sick. I don't want to get clients sick. And yeah, it's all human. We're all human. It's just the open communication and making sure that we know that you're not able to come in and we have time to move those clients. And obviously, we want to try to follow our 24-hour policy as much as possible to let clients know. But yeah, it is definitely a tricky time of year coming into the cold and flu season. But don't forget that we're human, right? Like anything happens, it's really important to make sure your clients and staff know that. Even if your clients have a situation happen, like never discount or don't charge your worth when it comes to services, or if something were to happen, just make sure that obviously your cancellation policy is honest. And yes, if there is like a family emergency or something like drastic happens, you know, this client, they never not come for their appointment and you're able to fill that spot, or something happens, just remember they're human. I feel like a lot of the time, yes, business is very transactional. Obviously, we don't want to run a charity, but just remember, sometimes you have to be human. People do business with you because of who you are. And that's something I think in the beauty industry that is just amplified that much more, because we are dealing with people. We are dealing with, we're almost like therapists. I always say that, like, you're not just coming in for a nail appointment. You're also coming for us to help you brainstorm this idea or this new thing that's going on in your life. We're always an open ear. Are you thinking about starting a podcast? I remember when we launched Beauty Behind the Brand, it was just an idea at first, and I didn't know where to start or what platform to use or how to streamline everything. Buzzsprout has made our lives so much easier, and I want to share some free info about it. Save $20 on your second invoice with Buzzsprout, and they will make your life so much easier. All you really need to do is upload, chat, and interview your guests, and Buzzsprout does the rest. So, from operations and why delegating and making sure your clients and staff understand what's going on, I feel like it's one of the things where you've really got to amplify that they can do this. They are willing and able to do these tasks. When we do assessments, that's something I ask my girls too. Is there any other things that you want to take on, or is there any other responsibilities or things you think that the spa needs? Is there any particular roles that you're interested in developing, or any extra courses or feedback you have for me? And that's where something it leaves the door open. And to be honest, I'm quiet. I let them, even if there's like that awkward moment of silence for a moment for them to think, let them think. Because what I've talked to a lot of other business owners, people who've worked in spa and salon, really any business where it's service-based, a lot of people don't actually have the opportunity to grow within that business, giving them that hand to say, okay, come with me. I'm going to bring you to this next level within your career. If you can be that for somebody, you have done your complete job of as being a human as well as being a spa CEO or a business owner. If you see worth in someone and you can bring them to that, to actually see that they are worth something, you will have that staff member forever, or they will remember you forever for amplifying their personality, their worth, their passion, their talents, like all the things. Just put yourself in their seat. If you were an esthetician or a hairstylist, for example, and your boss came to you and said, you know what, you are so talented. You should be running our sales meeting. You have had the best sales within this year. You have built the most amazing clientele for yourself. And I want you to run the next meeting on sales, and I want to do it together. Let's show the girls some of the things you do and bring them on board with some of these sales strategies that you have. Just think how amazing you would feel if your boss came to you and said those things. I want you to think about that when you're talking to your staff the next time, when you have that superstar client or someone that just, or superstar staff member, sorry, that just brings your spa salon to the next level, who walks in the door and you're just like, wow, if I had a franchise or if I had another business, they would be the one running that. Or even as a spa manager, maybe they're really nervous to bring that next level to their job title. Maybe they have been thinking, oh, it would be really nice if I could be a spa manager, or I feel like I'm qualified enough to be a spa manager. Make sure you leave that door open to those staff members that you think would be able to handle that, who would be able to have that client rapport, to be able to problem solve, to be able to run a team. Leadership isn't built for everyone. I feel like I was molded a lot when I was younger, in the sense of like even delegating. Delegating is probably my favorite thing to do. I feel like it's something I do without even noticing it. I just do it because it's something that I realize, you know what, I think I need to delegate in order to do what I need to do to make their job easier, or to be able to make their lives easier. There's a task that's bigger and greater that I need to deal with as a spa CEO that the other clients, staff members, contract workers may not see. And I think there's things, when I read this really neat quote, I'm trying to remember what the exact numbers were, but basically you want to figure out, as spa business owners or business owners in general, what your worth is per hour. You've got to think, okay, if I were sitting in a treatment room doing a service, or if I'm at home, for example, like I am today, doing calls, distributor meetings, going over Zoom portfolio training for some of our upcoming events we have, like there's so many things that I'm doing at home that is for both businesses. But for example, trying to figure out what makes the most sense of your worth per hour. Am I better sitting in a treatment room doing services at X amount per hour per day? Or am I better to be able to step back, being able to do some of these distributor sales, our marketing campaigns, organizing things like that with our influencer marketing for our other business, as well as spending that other time working on our spa and salon, getting the schedules up and running for the holiday season, making sure our retail store is up and running, building the success for my girls to be able to then offer these to clients. I honestly have seen a huge difference in my business with the numbers, what makes the most sense. And she said, and also I said to myself, wow, when I actually step back and look at what the business is making, when I'm present and I'm not just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks, when I'm actually sitting back, crunching numbers, seeing what makes sense for my staff, for wages, the products we're bringing in, the cleanliness of the spa, being able to go in and fix something right away that needs to be fixed instead of having to be there till 9 o'clock at night after clients have all left, like feeling more present and more at peace. And that's something I feel like builds creativity, builds what I actually want to be doing within being a business owner. Yes, I still work probably more than I ever have, but it's a more like peaceful work. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's not having to be there that 9 till whatever time at night to be able to get services and clients in. Don't get me wrong. I love clients. I love doing services, but it's something that's not filling my cup to the extent of being a business owner. This is a whole part of this podcast, which I want you to understand, is it's okay to delegate. It's okay to step back from this services and stepping back from treatment rooms. Your staff and your clients are going to have to understand that. For you to be able to grow and scale your business, this is what you need to do. Think of the CEO of like McDonald's. If you've ever watched the Founder movie, I think it's on Netflix, of how McDonald's started, highly recommended. It's just like a really good entrepreneur movie. I think it's looking at some of these stories or the biographies on different people. I love reading about success stories on how people started what they were doing to where they are now. If they stayed doing the same thing day in and day out, they would not be as successful as they are today. That is where I'm telling you, you've got to prioritize your time. You've got to start delegating. Really step back. I did this exercise. We have a coach that's helping us with some things on the back end of personal as well as business. And that's something he actually got us to do, was time block, and like a really realistic time block of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis that's going to grow and succeed you as well as your business. Now, when it comes to time blocking too, I want you to think about not just your business, because things happen. I want to make sure you're obviously clocking in lunch, you're being able to have those breaks. You're also able to actually have some time to regroup depending what you're doing. Like if you're doing hard number crunching, like I feel like every hour that I do that, I need an hour break. But jokes aside, I feel like it's definitely something that if it's something you really dread doing and you don't enjoy doing, try to do it first thing in the morning. Try to get it out of the way so then you've got the rest of the day, or something you're not 100% sure on the timing. Always make sure you have extra time on what you're doing. That's something I even do for calls. If I'm on like Zoom calls with people or podcast calls, I really say like we have a really hard start time at this point and a really hard end time at this point. I only have half an hour to 45 minutes for this meeting. Now, the trick, and I've learned this from some salespeople, is if the meeting's going extremely well and you actually don't have anything after, just say, oh, you know what, let's continue this call. I can wait a little bit longer for that next meeting. I want to be able to focus on your call right now, and we'll get through this together. So that way they seem like a sense of importanceness, as well as it's just, you know what, I'm focused on you. Let's try to get through this call. And yeah, you're my main priority now. And that makes that person on that call feel more excited, as well as accepted for that call for you, if that makes sense. But even for your staff, like make sure you are like, I feel like sometimes there's weeks where I'm not even in at the spa at all. I feel very disconnected. Yes, I'm talking to the girls every day and texting probably every hour with things, but then I'm like, but wait a minute, I shouldn't feel guilty from not being in at the spa. There's no reason I have to be there. There's no reason why I should be almost texting them this much about things that are not a priority. That's something I've noticed too when I'm in there, is things are brought to my attention constantly. Like it's not a relaxing thing for me to go in there. Like sometimes I go in and it's, oh, Nicole, there is this, or oh, we need to deal with this, or this happened. I'm like, if I wasn't here, you guys would not be bringing this to my attention. Obviously, I'm there because there's like situations or like I see more things happening, and that's why they're bringing them to my attention. But I totally get it. Like there is reasons where you need to prioritize and not feeling guilty. I'm recording this podcast, I feel like today, because yes, there was situations that were happening where clients are like, oh, there was a client or a staff member that was sick, and my clients are really like, Nicole needs to be in here. Nicole needs to be in here to do my services, like demanding me to come in. And it's like, these are your nails. It is not a life or death situation. Like, I'm sorry, but life happens. I also have a whole other job. Like, what happens if I had children, for example? Like, what am I supposed to do with my kids? Just pawn them off or leave them at home alone? Like, no, that is not a realistic thing. It's also like us demanding them to be able to come in at a certain time. So it just kills me when looking back at my day today, seeing where clients are demanding and needing me, where it's like, no, like things happen, life happens, but then I also feel guilty and I should be in there and doing this, when then I'm just disappointing someone else who have already had this Zoom meeting scheduled for months dealing with distributor opportunities and something that could actually potentially be making me way more money than this specific gel fill or this client being in.
If you're a busy person like most of us and forget to take your vitamins every morning, Cara Vitamins has made it extremely easy to remember. What I personally do is I just put the box beside my coffee maker, because we all know I can't forget my coffee in the morning, and I make sure that my everyday vitamins are ready to go, either if I'm on the go and/or I throw them in my purse. It's a great way to keep them all in a compact space, as well as keeping your cupboards and cabinets clean and simple. Now, with my promo code capital NME7GR, you will receive 50% off your first order. Now, another great thing I love about this business is they really care about you. Now, when you go online, they're going to ask you questions of why you need vitamins or what you're really needing in your everyday life. Personally, we all need a little bit of extra energy, maybe some extra magnesium, things like that. And this is a great way to keep the questions out of your mind when going to the grocery store and/or a drugstore to pick up your vitamins. Now, once again, that promo code is capital NME7GR for 50% off your first order. It's a really harsh way to think about it. And I think I sometimes am like, am I doing the right thing? I don't know what I should be doing. I wish everything was just seamless day to day, don't we all? Like, I feel like as business owners, people don't realize the stress and kind of that on edge feeling you have day in and day out. There's times where I don't feel present. I also find, because John and I both own our own businesses, there's a very fine line where we can try to prioritize our personal time and business time, where a lot of the time it's like, okay, I'm dealing with something at work, I just can't talk right now. That is something where we both understand that. I feel like if you're not with someone who's a business owner, sometimes they just don't understand and they don't gravitate to the understanding and kind of that, okay, it's not me, it's something they're dealing with outside of that. And same with my family. All of us own our own businesses, so we totally get it. If we have to get up and get on the phone quickly to deal with something, we totally get it. There's no hard feelings. But I really, really struggle sometimes where the outside people, like for example, I've been at the grocery store and someone has said to me, oh, shouldn't you be at work today? I'm like, it's literally the middle of the afternoon. I get that, but can I not come in and do grocery shopping in the middle of the day? Because the amount of hours I put in the day are probably more than you're working your 9 to 5 at your job that you're doing. I don't know what. So it's really, really hard when the outside world is almost like nitpicking you as a business owner. I also feel like if you're a young business owner like myself, it's even harder, where people are like, you should be working, you should be here. It's like, I am working, but I may not be at my establishment working on clients. I'm sitting here doing tax assessments. I'm sitting here doing in inventory counting. I'm in a storage unit. Like, there is just such a, I don't even know how to explain it, this like negative aura sometimes around trades or business people, which I don't understand. It's something that people really, really, really need to figure out. Like, this whole thing with this client basically demanding me to come into work, telling me to come, like, what is she doing at home? She should be in here at the spa. Like, she doesn't even know I'm at home. Like, I could be somewhere else at a meeting in Toronto. Like, she doesn't know what I'm doing. And that's the whole thing of also privacy as a business owner. And I'm starting to realize that more and more is the less people you have on social media, sometimes the better, especially on like your personal pages. I mean, business, go all out. But personal pages, it's sometimes nice to have a little bit more of that space between business as well as personal when it comes to social media. But yeah, it is a very, very tricky world out there. I want you guys to know, even for me, I've had my spa for 8 years now. In our distributor business for almost 5. I'm still dealing with clients' negativity sometimes on a day-to-day basis. And yes, like trying my hardest to delegate to different staff members, different things. Learning to say no is so hard. I feel like just in general, like real life or business. So this podcast is just a little realistic side of what I deal with on a day-to-day basis sometimes. Well, I hope this isn't a day-to-day basis, but every once in a while, probably once a month or so, I deal with a situation like this. And it's how you go about handling it. I feel like there's just, these are the options. This is what you're going to have to do. Like if you were going into, like, I even think of like a dental clinic, like if they had to reschedule or something because someone was sick, I'd be completely fine with that. Like, okay, no worries. Like I'll reschedule, or a hair appointment or something. Like life happens. People need to realize that. And yeah, you can be all upset and bent out of shape about it, but it's not going to help the situation. And yeah, people may know, yes, I'm an esthetician by trade and I can go in and cover and do those things, but I also don't want to let down the people I have scheduled for my things going on today, which then is like a chained reaction because this person needs their nails done. So yeah, remember you're a spa CEO. Remember you can say no. Remember you can stand your ground, and make sure you're being true to what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. What fills your cup? What makes your business grow? What makes your business thrive? It's something I think all of us need a reminder. Even I'm sure if you've been in business longer than I have, you can totally relate to this. Just stay motivated. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's something I also notice. I've been like doom scrolling or figuring out things that I'm like, wow, I should be going out for a walk today. That'll help me clear my mind. Think of things that are going to help you. We did a really great exercise with one of our mentors where it was, you need to make a list of 10 things that you really, really love to do, 10 things that might like surprise you, or like kind of like, for example, today with the call of someone not being able to come to work, something like surprises that you don't like. And how are some of the things you do to cope through those things? And go through that. Like, okay, so something bad happened today or something that I didn't realize was going to happen today, a surprise. Okay, now how am I going to deal with that? Picking something off that list. Okay, well, I love going out for walks with my dog, especially in the morning. Okay, I love to do a coffee work date. I love having a long conversation on the phone with one of my best friends. Like, think of things like that I'm going to probably do later today when I'm physically done work, air quotes, done work, to then hopefully refill my cup from today's situation. So remember, really take care of yourself. You need to make sure your cup's full to then overflow to others. You've got this. You're a spa CEO. If you know another spa CEO who also needs to listen to this podcast, or you want to share with your other friends that are also business owners, make sure to share this episode. Screenshot it, share it on your story, tag us. We'd love to see who's listening to which episodes, and make sure to comment and give us a review below. Thank you everyone for listening. You guys are all rock stars. Remember that. You're spa CEOs and you've got this. Let's finish out this last quarter with a big bang, and let's get motivated to really start delegating our tasks to others in our community when it comes to your spa or salon. Thanks everyone. Love you so much. Have a great day.